It is my honor to be here today at this extraordinary event as a guest of Andrés and Ricardo Salinas to talk to you about things that I am extraordinarily passionate about. From my perspective of studying exponential technologies and co-founder and chairman of Singularity University, to the work I've been doing at the X Prize Foundation to really try and solve the world's grand challenges. I believe that we are living during an extraordinary time where we're going to be able to literally solve all of humanity's grand challenges. So earlier this year, I wrote a book called Abundance: The Future is Better Than You Think, which looks at the impact of these extraordinary exponentially growing technologies and how they're going to change the lives of billions of people. And in this book, I say to people, we're heading towards a world of abundance. And when I say that, people say, really? Peter, haven't you heard about the economic crisis in Europe? Haven't you heard about the terrorism here and there? Haven't you heard about these murders? And I go, oh my God. We are living in a time when the news media is a drug pusher and negative news is their drug. Because on every device that we have, our smartphone, our tablets, our televisions, our radios, our newspapers, we are hearing night and day, 24 hours a day, the same story over and over and over again. No wonder people are pessimistic. No wonder people have a negative view on the future. But let me show you the truth. Let me show you the data. Because over the last 100 years, we have been living during an extraordinary time. Over the last 100 years, the human lifespan has more than doubled. The income, the per capita income for every nation adjusted for inflation has more than tripled. The cost of food has come down 13-fold, energy 20-fold, transportation 100-fold, communications over 1,000-fold. And my friend Steven Pinker at Harvard tells us we're living during the most peaceful time ever in human history. So the fact of the matter is that technology is a resource-liberating force. Over the last 100 years, it's been technology that's been driving this transformation of humanity. And let me tell you this, it's not stopping, it's only accelerating. So in my book, Abundance, I open with the story of this man. On the left is Napoleon III. The year is 1840. And Napoleon III was inviting the King of Siam over for dinner. Now, to show in the Palace of Versailles his wealth and his power, Napoleon fed all of his troops with silver utensils. Napoleon himself ate with gold utensils, but the King of Siam, he was fed with aluminum utensils. You see, aluminum in the year 1840 was the most precious metal on the planet. There was no place you could go and dig up pure aluminum from the earth. All of it was bound with oxygen and silicon to form a material called bauxite. And even though aluminum makes up 8% of the earth by weight, it was so difficult to extract the aluminum from the bauxite, it was worth more than gold and platinum. That's why, in fact, the tip of the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. is made of aluminum. Because in that same time period, it was the most precious metal on the planet. And then a technology of electrolysis came along that allowed us to take the aluminum out of the bauxite so efficiently that we now think of aluminum with a throwaway mentality. Aluminum foil, aluminum cans, we don't care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that same mechanism by which technology can take that which was scarce and make it abundant is true in so many other ways. We think about energy scarcity, but we are living on a planet that is bathed in energy. In fact, every year, 5,000 times more energy hits the Earth's surface than we consume as a species in a year. The cost of solar energy dropped 50% last year and 50% the year before. The amount that we're producing globally is growing at 30% per year. We are living into an age of energy abundance. And if that's true, we also are living into an age of water abundance. We talk about water wars and water scarcity. We live on a water planet, a planet 2/3 of which is bathed in water. Yes, 97.5% is salt water, 2% is ice, and 0.5% is the pure water that we fight over today. But there are extraordinary technologies coming down the pike in the form of nanomaterials or the work of Slingshot by Dean Kamen that is literally going to take water and make it so abundant, taking it out of the salt water or wherever, just like aluminum came out of bauxite. And this man, a Maasai warrior in the middle of Kenya on a mobile phone, has better mobile communications than the President of the United States did 25 years ago. And if that person's sitting on a smartphone on Google, they have access to more knowledge and information than the president of any country had just 15 years ago. They're living in a world of information and communications abundance. And guess what? Those smartphones, those technologies are about to become a lot more than just a means of communication. They're about to become your physician and your teacher. You see, this year, just 9 months ago, I was on stage with Paul Jacobs, the chairman of CEO of Qualcomm, at the Consumer Electronics Show, announcing something called the Qualcomm Tricorder X Prize. This X Prize for $10 million challenges teams around the world to build a handheld mobile device, something that any mother at 2 o'clock in the morning or anyone anywhere on the planet can use to talk to because it's got artificial intelligence, to cough on because it can do the DNA or RNA analysis of the bacteria in your sputum, or to do a finger blood prick to do your blood chemistry. These are devices that will diagnose you better than a team of physicians just 3 years from now. And when we announce this, today we have 250 teams from 32 countries around the world building these tricorder devices, which will transform healthcare not 20 or 30 years from now, within the next 4 or 5 years. And those same devices, literally connecting artificial intelligence on the cloud to any child who has a smartphone, will be able to allow that kid to have such an educational experience that you cannot buy today. Because literally, the democratization of healthcare and education will transform our planet. You see, one of the most powerful ideas that I can share with you today is the notion that we're living during an extraordinarily powerful time. These white lines are the Earth's population. We just crossed the 7 billion mark, 7 billion humans on the planet. Those of you who are concerned about population explosion, please don't be, because there is one thing proven over and over again to reduce the population growth of every country, and that is to make their citizens healthier and better educated. You do that, and it changes global population growth. And that's exactly what these tools of abundance are about to create. On this chart, what I show you in this green line is the penetration of the internet on Earth. You see, in 2010, we had just shy of 2 billion people connected on the internet. 2 billion people able to buy and sell things. In the next 8 years, that number is going from 2 billion to 5 billion. 3 billion new minds are coming online. These are 3 billion people who have never been heard from before. 3 billion people who have never purchased anything. What do they want? What will they create? What will they discover? What will they invent? They represent, for me, the greatest epic era ever of innovation. They represent the injection of tens of trillions of dollars into our global economy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time today where small groups, small teams of entrepreneurs, empowered by exponentially growing technologies, computational power, artificial intelligence, robotics, synthetic biology, digital medicine, digital manufacturing, and 3D printing, these individuals literally are able to do what only governments and large corporations could do before. These are the individuals who, like we speak at Singularity University, are going to be able to have a 10 to the 9th plus impact, the ability to touch the lives of 1 billion people in a positive fashion. We're living during a magical time of transformation, where literally our dreams can become true. So I urge you here today, when you hear the negative news, the negative media that is fed to you over and over again, remember there's a reason for this. You see, as we evolved on the plains of Africa hundreds of thousands and millions of years ago, if you missed a piece of good news, it's okay. If you missed a piece of bad news, it could mean your life. So a piece of the ancient brain called the amygdala, a piece of our temporal lobe of our brain, has evolved literally to pay 10 times more attention to the negative news than the positive news. And it's for that reason that most news media, not all, most politicians, not all, will literally tell you the negative news first to get your attention. But today we're living in an age where the good news is growing exponentially. The power to transform the world and make your dreams come true, to literally create an age of abundance, is within your hands. There is no problem we cannot solve. There is no problem that you cannot take on in some fashion. So I urge you, instead of being concerned, instead of being complaining, take up the power of the technology, the connections we have, and let us solve these grand challenges. Let us go and transform this planet and make our dreams come true. Thank you.